Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to part 1 of how to solve by completing the square. All right, let's get started. In the past, we've learned 2 different ways to solve. One we've factored and solved, and the other one we've got the x squared alone, and we've taken the square root. Those are 2 ways that we can solve for x. Today we're going to learn a third way. And why we learn this third way is because sometimes we get something that looks like this, x squared plus 4x plus 1, and we cannot factor it. It's not factorable. And we cannot take the square root because we have an x squared and an x. So that is why today we are going to learn about completing the square. Now, geometrically, this is exactly what we're going to do, you guys. We're going to make squares, which means all side lengths have to be the same. All right, here we go. So if we look at something like this, we need to complete the square. We need to figure out what we're going to add there. So we have 1x squared, and then we need to add 4x's. So over here, I'm going to grab my 4x's. I'm going to put 1 here, 1 here. Now remember, I want to make a square, so I have to make these line up. There's 1 there. And 1 here. So there's my 4. So now I have this open space right here that I need to fill in. This open space is going to complete my square are all going to be my 1s. So I'm going to pull them in. 1, 2, 3, 4. So to complete my square, I would need to add 4. Now this, you guys don't need to write this down. You don't need to write down the next 2 slides either, all right? So let's try another one. If we look at this one, we have x squared plus 6x plus something. We need to fill it in. So I have my x squared, and I have my 6x's. Now all I have to do is plug in my 1s. So I'm going to do that. Plug them in so I can complete my square. Here we go. Lots of 1s in here, plugging them all in. Oops. Here we go. And we end up with 9 1s, so we would add 9. Now I want us to look at this one a little bit more. If we look at this side right here, we have x plus 3. And if we look at this side right here, we also have x plus 3. Given this, there's a few things we can do. If we would multiply these together, x plus 3 times x plus 3, we're going to see that we're going to get x squared plus 3x plus 3x plus 9. If we simplify this, we're going to get x squared plus 6x plus 9. Now, that is exactly what we have up here. So if we wanted to factor this out, these would be my 2 factors. And we're going to be doing that later. If we have 2 factors that are the same, you guys, we can write it like this, x plus 3 squared. Because this and this mean the same thing. All right, next example. Here we come. You guys don't have to write this down, all right? So we're just filling this in. Put in all of our x's. We have 8 of them, so we want to put 4 and 4. We want to make it even. So I fill those in. Now, instead of going through this each and every time, putting in all the 1s, we could do a shortcut. We could fill in all our 1s, or we could say, okay, we have 4, and we have 4. So we could take 4 times 4, which is 16. So we just have to add 16 to this one. All right? Now, this is the only other thing I need you to write down. So you should write down the title, and now I want you to write down this page, okay? This is what we're going to be talking about today and tomorrow. We are going to complete this square. Now, instead of drawing all those squares and plugging everything in, I'm going to show you guys a little shortcut. To do this, what we're going to do is we're going to take this number right here, 10. Always the one that's in front of the x. So I'm going to take 10, I'm going to divide it by 2, and I'm going to get 5. From here, to figure out what I put right here, remember on this last slide how we took 4 times 4? We're going to do the same with this number. We're going to take 5 times 5, which is 25. So that's what's going to go right here. Okay? Now we're also going to use this 5 to write our factor. It's going to be x. Now, since this right here is a plus, we are going to say plus 5. Do the same thing on this one. We're going to take 18 divided by 2. We're going to get 9. And then 9 times 9, or 9 squared, equals 81. So 81 goes here. Over on this one, we use our 9. So it's going to be x. And since this is negative, it's going to be a minus 9. Then we have our factors as well. Remember, this can be written also like this. This and this mean the exact same thing. Alright, 2 left. If you guys are getting the hang of it, go ahead and do it without me. So 14 divided by 2 equals 7. 7 squared is 49, so 49 goes here. If I wanted to write this, I'm going to write x. That's a negative, so it's going to be minus whatever that number is right there, 7. And last one, I'm going to have 12 divided by 2, which is 6. 6 squared is 36, so 36 goes here. 6 is my number. I have a plus sign, so it's going to be x plus 6. All right, that is all I have for this part 1. Make sure you watch part 2, all right, you guys? All right, bye-bye.